Hey everybody, welcome to The Word on the Street with Gaby and Michael, where we mention it all about your favorite Bravo celebrities and the shows that they star in. Thank you so much for tuning into our first episode.
First episode, I'm so excited.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Don't like Vicky, but woohoo! We're gonna worth whooping it up, whether you're a Vicky fan or not. So before we dive into all things Bravo, we just wanted to share a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to introduce our Bravo palettes, and we're going to introduce our top 5 favorite housewives, and then we'll go into our least faves. So I'm going to start first. My top 5 include Erica, Rinna, Portia, Bethany, and Teresa Giudice.
And another thing to know about Michael and myself is that we don't agree on everything, which is part of what's going to make this so much fun.
Exactly.
They're my top favorite 5 housewives. And this was a really tough list to make because there are others who I'm obsessed with who didn't make the list. But
yeah, me too.
5 is what we have to start with.
It was tough. I mean, like, I'll say also Beverly Hills is my favorite city. So, like, I live for Erica. I met her in New York in January. I saw her in Chicago, which was, like, the best day ever. I waited outside for her for, like, 30 minutes, and she signed my playbill. I got a picture with her. And that was the only housewife I ever met, but, like, she's my favorite, so I don't really care. I love Rinna because she's just hilarious, and she stirs the pot. Portia, I've loved since Atlanta started. I know that's, like, controversial.
I'm a forever Portia fan.
Yeah, I loved her since her fight with Kenya, since By Ashy. But her glow up has been amazing. Bethany, because who doesn't love Bethany? And Teresa, because I just think she runs Jersey and there wouldn't be a show without her.
Moving on to now my top 5 favorite housewives to start showing off my palette. Michael and I share in common the queen herself, Bethany Frankel. She's an icon in every sense of the word. I respect her not only as an entertainment personality, but also as just a businesswoman. I feel like she really joined the show solely to help grow her business.
I'm drinking a Skinny Girl Cosmo right now.
I'm obsessed with the one and only Kenya Moore. I think she is hysterical. She was the second Black Miss USA.
She's from my home state, too.
Yes, that's right. She comes from Michigan, where Michael also comes from. Next for me is Giselle, the word on the street herself, the one who inspired the name of this podcast. Next for me, we don't agree on this one. I am an LVP forever fan. I think she is amazing, and I really miss her on Beverly Hills. And finishing out my top 5 is Rinna as well. I think she is a hoot.
We mostly agree. I mean, Giselle's in my top 10. Kenya's probably top 20. And then just LVP is a no from me.
Michael, we need to hear your least 5 favorites.
Okay. So I have a lot of least favorites from OC, I'm starting to realize. First of all, Vicky. I cannot stand her. I think she's annoying. I think she stirs up drama. She repeats rumors. She just, I mean, and the cancer scam. And then she thinks she has all these morals. I don't know where your morals are, but they're non-existent. Next would be TAMRA, because stirs up drama, and then when she gets confronted, she lies. And I just think she's like a shitty friend to Shannon, and she's always talking behind her back. Also from OC, the last one, Heather Dubrow. I know that's controversial, but I think she's the type of person that she's like, you know, she thinks she's so classy and above it all, but really she's manipulative and she's an evil person, which we saw on the bus ride from hell. Then I would actually have to say Melissa Gorga, which might be controversial too, but I just think, like, I don't really hate her. I just think she wouldn't be on the show without Teresa. And then for number 5 was kind of a tie between Teddy and Gina, who are current housewives. I just think, like, I don't hate them as people. I just don't think they're, like, housewife material. Like, Teddy's just kind of boring, and Gina is just a mess. Like, I don't understand her.
It was a really poor casting choice for housewives. Yeah. So kicking off my list, mine are in no particular order, is Phaedra Parks. I know you're a fan of her, Michael, but she is messy, and mean. And just that drama was dark. My second favorite, this will be a controversial one. I don't like Sonia Morgan.
Sure.
I really can't stand her, and just like the constant, like all over the place. I don't like people who can't follow through with anything. Like we saw that with her toaster oven, with when she had the Nigerian football team, her lifestyle brand. Like I can't stand
a lot.
Who are all over the place and they can't follow through with anything. So
Yeah.
I feel like being a friend of Sonia would be infuriating. My next one is Gina from Real Housewives of Orange County, like Michael. Just a bad casting choice. I mean,
Awful.
The fact that they like had to blur out her husband's face anytime they like showed a family photo. The next for me is another OC housewife is Vicki Gunvalson. Like we said,
yeah.
Scam. I don't think we have to say anything more than that. Lastly, crap, it's another OC housewife, Emily Simpson. Terrible casting choice. I just don't understand the whole dynamic with her husband, mainly because he proposed to her on G-Chat when they weren't even dating. What the hell?
Yeah, that was odd.
What is up with that? I mean, one, even if they had been dating for 2 years, who wants to be proposed to on G-Chat? Nobody. No.
Especially by him. Ugh.
To quote Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, you've got to take the car out for a test drive before you park it in the garage. That's
agreed. Well, obviously, we agree that we hate a lot of OC housewives first. Second, I think Emily is just wasn't a good addition, but she's grown on me this past season. I do feel like she has a good heart. Yeah, now that we did our palettes, we're going to get into what's recently been going on in the world of Bravo. So first of all, Dorinda has left New York. She just announced last week.
I think she was fired. Her behavior has gotten really out of hand.
I heard from a source, or I saw something on Instagram where she went in a meeting with Bravo producers and they both kind of agreed that she had a rough season, and they kind of just agreed that she wouldn't come back. But I think she would have kind of gotten fired if she really wanted to come back. I had been saying, I knew there was going to be some kind of shakeup. I thought either Dorinda or Ramona, because they were both kind of awful this season. I was hoping for Ramona, but I'm kind of hoping that Dorinda, she takes a couple years off, she goes to therapy, works on herself, and then she comes back better than ever.
I hope she shows up as a guest.
She was a guest before she was on the show. There's a couple parties where they pan around the tables and she's like sitting at some of the tables. But Lala Kent from Vanderpump Rules has announced that she's pregnant with Randall. I'm really happy for her.
Lala and Randall. Give me Lala and Randall.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're a great couple. Last season, Randall finally went on camera and we saw him a lot. Yeah. Oddly enough, him and Jax got along. So kind of my theory, I don't know if this was reaching, but I mean, Stassi just announced that she's pregnant like a month or two ago. And now Lala, I feel like the producers were like, okay, we need you guys to start like getting pregnant and having kids so we can go in like that direction. I bet you Brittany will be pregnant next because she wants 3 kids with Jax. I honestly feel like we're good on Vanderpump Rules. Like, I'm not dying to see their lives anymore. We got 8 seasons of it.
I really think that a lot of other fans feel that way as well.
Yeah. We're finally getting another city because, as you know, Beverly Hills, New York are ending, and then we're only going to have Potomac for a while. So it was kind of exciting to see that the OC trailer just got announced, and it's going to be premiering on October 7th, which is the day I'm actually getting my nose done. So I'm going to have like a OC nose party that night.
You know what's really crazy is that Shannon is now the longest running OC housewife, and she joined in season 9. I
think Shannon's kind of the queen, and I think Kelly's kind of behind her too. I'm happy that Vicki and TAMRA are gone. Obviously, I talked about them earlier. I don't like them, but OC has been so bad with casting in the last 5 seasons. I mean, season 12, we got Lydia and Peggy. They were terrible. Then we got Gina and Emily. Obviously, we just talked about them. And then we got Bronwyn, who I was on the fence about, and I honestly think that I'm really gonna like her this season. I think that she is gonna like start becoming a fan favorite of OC. I've seen she's been supportive of Black Lives Matter. She's been protesting. You know, her son is getting into drag now, and she's been super supportive of that.
Agreed. I think she is fully shining as our newest OC housewife. I know we're going to have another new one on season 15.
What stood out to you in the trailer?
I
mean, there's not much, but
I am curious to see how they're going to make the COVID storyline interesting. That is like intriguing to me.
I think that'll be interesting, especially to relive it, and
yeah,
especially in the lens of Kelly and Shannon.
I think we should move into the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion part 1.
Let's do it.
Let's dive in.
So,
and I have a question for you. Best dressed, in your opinion?
Garcelle for sure.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was like Big Bird chic, almost hacky, but it was reserved enough that it wasn't. I loved her hair. I loved, you know, whatever the swirly thing in her hair was. I love that she had the rings that were made from Asa from Shaw's of Sunset, which I just binged. My next 2 faves were Erica and Dorit. That would be my top 3.
Dorit and Erica, I think it's a tie for me between the 2 of them as for who the best dressed.
Yeah.
I loved Erica's dress. I loved Dorit's hair. They both looked amazing.
So I have some thoughts. I honestly felt like Garcelle was kind of reaching with the Kyle stuff throughout the season. I kind of didn't understand why she was coming for Kyle so much, just because she, especially in early on, she wasn't really at the events, and she was only really around Kyle a couple times. And then for her to, like, in her speech kind of shade her, I thought that was kind of unnecessary. So there was like a couple things that bothered me, but what bothered me the most on the reunion was how Kyle brought up that Garcelle didn't pay the charity when she raised her paddle. I thought she for sure was just trying to make Garcelle look bad, and I thought that was just not a good look on her. I think maybe she didn't pay, but I don't think she purposely didn't pay. You know what I mean? Like, I think there was a miscommunication. Garcelle doesn't seem like the type of person for me that would purposely not pay a charity. Even if she doesn't like Kyle, it's not about Kyle. And Garcelle, she doesn't seem petty like that.
I raised my eyebrows at the whole thing. Who told Garcelle about Kyle's tweets?
Honestly, maybe it was LVP. It potentially could have been Dorit.
With what has happened this season between Dorit and Kyle, that was my first thought, is that she shot that note to Garcelle and was like, just as an FYI, Kyle did this.
Especially because the season didn't premiere until after they're done filming, obviously. So that was after all the drama this season.
My money's on Dorit.
Yeah, I think either Dorit or LVP.
And then what about Sutton versus Dorit?
Okay, first I want to say Sutton was the MVP of this reunion episode. I thought she was so funny. I was like, who is this girl? Like, she's coming in so strong, like dissing people's looks when she's wearing these boxy silhouettes. and I didn't like her reunion look, but it was very her. So I can appreciate it. But I really enjoyed Sutton this episode. So first we had the Sutton versus Dorit drama. Whose side were you on with that? I thought the drama was kind of dumb, but
yeah, with Dorit and Sutton, I just was like, I don't care. Although I do like Dorit a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, me too.
This whole scenario, it just reminded me of why both of them just got kind of annoying.
Oh God, yeah. Honestly, the drama, it had its fun. Now we need to let the mouse go, as Sutton would say. Then I wrote this quote down because I thought it was so funny. Sutton said, "You're really gonna let my small disdain for your clothes get in the way of our friendship." Definitely the quote of the episode.
I thought so too. And like, who was it? Erica she said disdain.
So good.
So good.
I'm gonna like start using that word now. And then we kind of got into like the Denise drama at the end. And honestly, I'm tired. I'm really tired at this point. Like, I just, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Nothing's gonna get resolved.
Nothing. Nothing. And I'm just so over it. I'm over Denise. And if this behavior of hers is going to continue, then I just leave the show. Like, I really don't think she is like that, like, desperate for money that she needs to be on this show.
I really thought we would get some explanation from her, and we didn't, and it was disappointing. Because even Andy was pointing it out to her. He's like, you know, Denise, we saw you so carefree last season, talking about sex and whatnot. Why, you know, what changed? And I thought she was just going to be straight up about it. You know, my kids watch. I thought we were going to get some explanation. That would have explained everything, and I think we would get resolution, but it's like, she's not accountable for anything. Yeah. And I know that Erica and Rinna were kind of harsh on her. I'm not going to deny that, but it's like, it is frustrating.
They were hard on her, but I thought it was just. I thought Denise has really, like, ruffled everyone's feathers all season, and they're just like, enough is enough at this point. She's made it really hard to be Team Denise.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not even that big of a Brandi fan, but I really only am on Team Brandi because I think Brandi's telling the truth.
Yeah, or mostly. But I think there's obviously truth to it, especially when we've caught Denise in multiple lies this season. So before we get into RHONY, I want to ask you, this is like my big question of the night. Do you think that Denise is really this big manipulator that Rinna is kind of calling her out to be? You know, at that dinner, you know, setting up the girls to look bad. And then we saw that she liked that tweet that called Rinna a racist, and it was talking shit about Erica. Do you think like she really like is planning these things out and she's this big manipulator? Or so I'm just curious what you think on that.
I think Denise has manipulated this to an extent, and I think it's like spiraled out of what she ever thought it would. Yes, I think she kind of got off of how well last season went. She was embraced as a new housewife, and I think she kind of was like, I'm untouchable, and it wasn't the case. I think she really didn't know the rabbit hole that she fell into.
I don't think that she's like a manipulator. I don't think she plans things out like LVP does. But I think, yeah, like you said, it just rabbit holed like one thing and another thing, you know, liking the tweet. I don't think she was really like had a lot of thought behind it, but I think things are just spiraling and she's not owning up to anything.
I don't think Denise is like innocent by any means.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't think she's smart enough. She married Charlie Sheen.
Right. And then this Aaron guy is not.
I have to agree. He was cute up until that dinner where this dinner party went from nice to just really strange. And
he is just weird. The way he grabbed her hand when they were leaving Kyle's barbecue, I'm just getting some sketchy vibes from him.
Yeah, I'm no longer an Aaron fan.
So we have to struggle through 2 more parts of this reunion, which is probably just going to be more Denise not being accountable and the girls harping on her, and I'm tired.
So on that note, we are diving into most recent episode of The Real Housewives of New York City. We're about to have our season 12 finale.
So honestly, I didn't think this episode was that exciting. Yeah. I think I thought after the Mexico trip, I thought, you know, the trip wasn't my favorite trip, but it had some exciting moments. But I was just like, I'm kind of ready for the season to be over. So this wasn't my favorite episode, but I guess we can go into Leah's Married to the Mob party, which I thought looked really fun. That would be a party I'd love to go to.
I thought it looked like a blast. And Ramona, just that woman never ceases to amaze me. The level of like privilege that she thinks.
Oh my God!
Thinking she can tell people who they can and can't invite.
Please.
Exactly. Please.
And it's so funny because she's the one that brought Elise on the show.
I know. That was wild. And then her saying, "Oh, sorry, I don't know you." That was a new level.
Shady. I have like a couple theories on that drama. I think one, she brought Elise on the show, and Elise obviously turned on her for good reason. but she didn't want to give that girl any more airtime. She's upset that she brought her on the show, and she walked away because she didn't want Elise to get any more airtime than she already has gotten. I also think too that Elise might have dirt on Ramona. I think she's got something on her. So
very Ramona-like too. I really don't think she wanted to be at the party at all.
That was her ticket to get out of there, and I think she was never gonna look back. You know, she probably had 3 dates planned. So that woman amazes me. She can fit a date in. Like, she fits, like, I just don't understand, like, the way she fits dates into her schedule. One of my favorite quotes was what Elise said to her, and this was some vocabulary that I learned. She called her duplicitous, nefarious. That was a new word for me. I don't know about you. And narcissistic, superficial girl.
I love it.
She was definitely digging into her vocabulary for that one.
She really was. And, you know, nefarious, I know what that word means because of the movie Despicable Me, the evil son of Dr. Nefario. And it's similar to the word nefarious, and it's a really good word.
I like it. I'm gonna start using these words: disdain, nefarious, duplicitous. What did you think about Luann calling out Dorinda for being on her phone?
Hypocrite much? Vicky's least favorite word, but
yeah,
I just thought that was so outrageous. Like, the fact that she jumped down Leah's throat for sitting at a table by herself on her laptop, and then other people being on their phones, making just a huge spectacle of it.
Yeah. I think it was hypocritical, but at the same time, I thought, like, what was the point of Luann calling her out? Like, you know, Dorinda, she's not gonna, like, take it well. She's gonna get angry. And it was also her birthday, so I'm like, I would say just give her a break. Like, it was hypocritical, but at the same time, I thought, like, Luann was really reaching to, like, create drama.
I think also the women are just tired of Dorinda at this point. I think that played a huge part into why Dorinda's not on the show anymore, because a lot of women are like, we can't stand being around her anymore. And, like, Ramona's been on it every single season. Luann's been almost on it every season. So I think they have more say than even Dorinda does. And if they have any clout, I think they used it.
Yeah. And Sonia's been on since season, 3 or 4? And it wouldn't be a birthday party without Luann singing happy birthday, of course.
Luann can always find a microphone no matter where she is.
Honestly, this episode, that was about the whole episode. I kind of want to ask you, like, looking forward to next season, like, what do you think? Because I think the show, they're going to start revolving it around Leah. I think it's slowly going to become her show.
Okay.
I think that we're going to get, fans have been begging for some younger girls, so I think we're going to get, like, 1 to 2 younger women, so we can kind of even it out between, we
should rule out Jill Zarin returning.
I don't, actually, because I know that part of the reason that Jill wasn't, like, coming on as much this last season was because of Dorinda. She was actually supposed to go on one of the trips, I think, to the Berkshires or one of them, and Dorinda told the producer she didn't want her there. So
see Jill come back.
I would love her to come back too.
And she's got, like, a successful, like, mask business that she's doing with her.
Yeah, she does, like, curtains or rugs
and masks.
She has, like, yeah,
she does, like, these really cute tie-dye masks. I think she would bring back the breath of fresh air that she brought in the earlier seasons of the show.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it would be a great change of pace.
Yeah, because now that Tinsley is gone, it's like, it almost feels like it's Leah with, like, her aunts or something. You know what I mean? I think we got to just bring the average age down a little bit. I don't know that, and I think we're going to keep the 4 girls we have now. I mean, I just can't imagine anyone else getting fired. Then we're down to 3. Usually it's 6 or 7 girls. So I think we'll stick with the 4 and get maybe 2 newbies. I like when there's more, unless it's like season 1 of Jersey, they had 5, and I thought that was good because it was a good cast. But generally, I like to see more. I mean, it can't hurt. like this cast trip to Mexico on this last season in New York, it was only the 5 girls in it. It felt like we were needing a little bit more.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in to the Word on the Street with Michael and Gabby. We hope you enjoyed our first episode. I know we loved making it. And stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be doing episodes on YouTube, and we're in the process of getting onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So stay tuned for that as well. But we're definitely excited about this project, and stay tuned for more episodes.